Ladies and gentlemen, how do?
Breaking news from the land of Trumpstein. Both the House and Senate have voted to release the Stinkstein files. Nearly every Republican in the U.S. House of Representatives voted on a bill to compel the release of documents tied to convicted sex offender Jeffrey Stinkstein. The lone nay came from the Republican lawmaker from Louisiana, Clay Higgins, who defied his party, saying his vote was a principled no vote. Remember this face, folks, as the face of the man that was covering up for PDF files. Clay Higgins, the notable exception, claimed he could not vote for the bill in its current form due to safeguarding issues. This coming from the man that his own House repugnance voted to censure for offensive remarks he made on social media after he called Haiti the nastiest country in the Western Hemisphere and referred to Haitians as eating pets and slapstick gangsters. All these thugs better get their mind right and their ass out of our country before January 20th, Higgins wrote. He is truly a delightful human being. Resounding vote in favor of the Epstein bill, 427-1, marks a rare moment of bipartisanship on Capitol Hill. Hours later, Senator Chuck, the Schumer Democrat of New York, and the minority leader won unanimous agreement for the Senate to pass the measure as soon as it arrived in the chamber, which would clear it for President Trump's signature. Mr. Trump, who toiled for months to derail the bill, reversed himself once it was clear it would pass overwhelmingly, has said he would sign it.
This was the moment America put aside its rancorous politics and aligned with the survivors of Jeffrey Epstein.
On this vote, the yeas are 427, the nays are 1.
Only one congressman voted against, Clay Higgins from Louisiana, saying the bill would endanger witnesses.
Choose the children, protect the children.
Earlier, the women who'd stood up and spoken out in vain for years reminded the world of just how vulnerable they were when they met Jeffrey Epstein.
This was me at 14 years old.
At 17 years old.
I was 16. It's an honor to stand here again for something America is finally united on.
Among those gathered, Virginia Giuffre's brother, who bristled at the mere mention of his sister's alleged abuser.
Do you think it's time Prince Andrew came to testify before?
I'm sorry, what was his name again?
Andrew Mountbatten.
Oh, that one, okay, yeah.
Is it time for Andrew Mountbatten to testify here in the US?
I mean, I think that if he is trying to look for a moment of any sort of vindication, then he shouldn't be scared to stand up and actually come forward. Yes, I think he should come to the US and answer.
Lisa Phillips travelled to Epstein's Island when she was 21. She says she not only met Andrew Mountbatten Windsor there despite his denial that he ever visited, but claims the former prince slept with several women who were introduced by Epstein. So you're convinced that there are more women who were forced to have sex with Andrew, aside from Virginia Giuffre Roberts?
Yes. I'm not convinced, I know that.
Do you think he should face further repercussions for what happened?
Absolutely, yeah. I believe that we need answers. And I think once this comes to light, maybe there's other survivors that will come forward. Maybe not, but I do know that there are more than one that are out there. So,
with regard to Andrew?
I mean, that's what I believe, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Andrew strenuously denies any wrongdoing. But one Republican who led the rebellion in Congress told me Britain has shown the way on accountability.
Thanks for being ahead of the curve in Britain. You got rid of your ambassador and also a prince. So we need the same sort of reckoning here in the United States.
But Donald Trump has resisted the momentum towards transparency. At the weekend, facing a mutiny by his own party, he performed a U-turn. His growing frustration, though, is clear. A president calling a female journalist piggy simply for asking about his links to Epstein. And today, there was more.
You're a terrible person and a terrible reporter. As far as the Epstein files is, I have nothing to do with Jeffrey Epstein. I threw him out of my club many years ago because I thought he was a sick pervert.
Today, these survivors have achieved what no recent president or politician has been able to. Uniting Congress, galvanizing it into action.
The bill is passed.
And pushing not just for the truth, but also one day, they hope, justice.
There were jubilant scenes here inside this congressional building where survivors, their families and friends had gathered for a candlelit vigil to celebrate the passing of this bill through the House of Representatives, and then news came through that it wouldn't be amended or blocked in any way in the Senate either. So now it goes straight to President Trump's desk, where he has already indicated he will sign this into law. And what this act means in effect is that any government institution, any government agency which has any files or information on Jeffrey Epstein is bound by this law to make them public. And the families and survivors that have gathered here hope this will be transformative in their quest for justice, in their quest to bring to account the powerful men they say have so far evaded any of the repercussions of being involved with Jeffrey Epstein. They have campaigned not just for years, but in some cases for decades to get to this point. One family said it was a bit like a marathon that they felt they had been running, and suddenly we are sprinting, they felt, to a new moment in this story where they feel they're getting much closer to the truth.
Although this is a much-awaited victory, the war is not won, and it is highly unlikely that the public will never get to see these files in their raw, unredacted form, because just before Dumpy McFondler agreed to go forward with the vote, he signed off on an investigation into Democrats that could be in his best mate Jeff's files. The DOJ can block the release of huge chunks of the files, stating that they are part of an ongoing investigation. Jeffrey Stinkstein's brother has already come out and said that he has heard from a very credible source close to the DOJ that they are busy removing any trace of Trump and any repugnance from the files. Realistically, the only real truth anyone is likely to get will come from the files that the Epstein estate releases. Massive shout out to the lads over on All Shots AI for making my words come to life. Say hello to them. Well, folks, if you enjoyed this video, then not only are you lovely people, but you also have great taste, and you should also subscribe to the Two Davies for news and politics from a very Scottish perspective, and that rantastic Mr. McGuinness. You should also subscribe to Mr. Daily Blasé's channel for merriment, mischief, and the Friday frolics. Cue growling cat.